A Rhythm and Blues Guide. Chapter 1. Rhythm and Blues was early rock that bucked the big band sound. Rhythm and Blues info. R&B started with black gospel music. They secularized it, added a stronger beat, and it became rhythm and blues. Although it's not totally black music, rhythm and blues is predominantly a mix of soul, funk, rap, urban and doo-wop. In the 1950s, anyone with a funky beat that deviated from the big band sound was classified as R&B. Elvis, Buddy Holly, and Jerry Lee Lewis were white guys who had the R&B beat. They say Buddy Holly was the first white guy who performed at the Apollo in Harlem. R&B is the start of rock and roll. White guys liked the beat and created rock. Bill Haley and the Comets is the classic rock pioneer. Rock around the clock from the 1950s still has the magical universal beat. Contemporary R&B has a rap/hip-hop sound added in. Rhythm and blues, frequently abbreviated as R&B or R&B, originated within Black American communities in the 1940s. The term was originally used by record companies to describe recordings marketed predominantly to black folk, but white folks crossed over into it. I remember the song More, More, More by Andrea True. They thought it was a black song sung by a white woman, so they didn't put her picture on the album because they wanted the black audience to think she was black and buy the album. A typical rhythm and blues band consists of a piano, one or two guitars, bass, drums, one or more saxophones, and background vocalists. R&B lyrics are themes of pain, freedom, joy, oppression, relationships, and hope. Think of the Temptations, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Elvis sang in the ghetto. In the late 1980s, a newer style of R&B developed known as contemporary R&B. This form combines rhythm and blues with various elements of pop, soul, funk, disco, hip-hop, and electronic music. Little Richard, Chuck Berry, James Brown, Etta James, Fats Domino, Roy Brown, and Chubby Checker are considered R&B pioneers. The doo-wop groups were big, like the Orioles, the Ravens, and the Dominoes. You can find doo-wop on YouTube. They made a movie about Alan Freed. It was the radio DJs that made R&B mainstream. It was a tough go because they considered this music too sexy for decent people. They had two guys holding a piece of plywood to cover Elvis's hips when he appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show. Then Ed called him a decent man. The 1950s was a time of prosperity. White teenagers were doing the standard dances like In the Mood, but they wanted a faster beat. It was a revolution. You can find early video of Little Richard Penniman, Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. There was Ike Turner, James Brown, Otis Redding, Ruth Brown, Bo Diddleys, and Della Reese. Tony Wilson and the Platters were big in the 1950s. The quality of music was very high. Think of Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. That simple song Why Do Fools Fall in Love still sounds great today. Doo-wop is archipela. Several guys sing together without instruments. It was a slower time. Musicians devoted lots of time to their craft. Jailhouse rock comes from 1957. Nat King Cole and Sam Cooke were early 1960s black singers. Motown Records started, then R&B split into mainstream pop and soul. By the 1970s, the term rhythm and blues was being used as a blanket term for soul, funk, and disco. There were several choreographed black groups like the Four Tops, the Spinners, Tavares, the Cheelites, and the Temptations. Disco became mainstream, then it was all pop for MTV. An R&B article at en.wikipedia.org/wiki/rhythm_and_blues. There is a lot of history in R&B music all the way back to Cab Calloway. Dan Aykroyd did a tribute with the Blues Brothers movie in 1980. Articles on R&B at liveabout.com/rhythm-and-blues-4688249. At least 20 articles. Rhythm and blues websites at cali.org/en/arts/music/styles/r/rhythm_and_blues. Subcategories: Carolina Beach, Funk, Northern Soul, Soul. Angelfire.com/il2/Regal. The Showtime at the Regal Theatre. soulwalking.co.uk, Soul Walking. Guide to Soul Music, including over 1,000 biographies of artists. Staxmuseum.com, Stax Museum of American Soul Music. Rhythm and Blues websites at musicamounts.org/styles/rhythm_and_blues/links. Ejams.com, Ejams, an interactive music survey with contests, chat rooms, trivia, music charts, bulletin boards, merchandise, links and music information. musicaustin.com/randb, Music Austin, spotlight on Austin music, music clips and information about the R&B artists from the Austin, Texas area. musicstreet.com, Music Street, R&B and reggae news including UK charts and tour dates. rhythm-n-blues.org, Rhythm and Blues Foundation, fostering wider recognition, financial support and historic and cultural preservation of rhythm and blues music and artists of the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s. rhythmandtheblues.org.uk, Rhythm and Blues Music Primer, dedicated to blues and authentic soul. top20randb.com, top20randb.com, R&B Music Guide for artists with downloads, news, reviews, charts, and videos. Rhythm and Blues Music websites. Answers.com/topic/urban-contemporary. blackrefer.com. bmgmusic.com. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/r_b. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/rhythm_and_blues. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/urban_contemporary. live365.com. popmatters.com. royalty.tv/rftv/urban-music.htm. vh1.com. yourmusic.com.